cryptids. We're talking about UFOs, fake aliens, real aliens.
Come on now, Bubba. I digress. I apologize.
I hope your minds are ready to get blown.
It's about to get weird.
Let's get the show on the road.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's the youngest man in the prepping community. The future talk radio. Pilgrim here with you guys. How you doing? Happy 9/11. And remembrance to all of the responders, the people that died in the buildings, the plane, everything involved in it. We might go down some rabbit holes tonight, though. The events that happened on 9/10/2001 were pretty insane as well. I see that we don't have anybody, because we have a lot of people live right now. I was wanting to wait, but didn't have too much time left, so I said fuck it and go ahead and do it. See if anybody up here in this chat. Shit, we at 0, but we gonna go up again real soon. Real soon. Let me see. Good, that gives me some time to kind of settle things in. We got some Burning Man news, I'll tell you guys. Oh, I got an echo right there. Let me see. Because they canceled it last year. And I guess they had it was an orgy of COVID and people with dogs. And it was a free Burning Man, so it was like 15,000 people showed up to it. But then we ain't got nobody in here. Everybody, we got people out doing all kinds of shit. What y'all doing?
But the camera's out.
Oh shit. Native and them, they still alive. We got Dangerous Freedom is still alive. Come on now. Come on now. Who there? Who out there? Oh, there they go. Who there? Yeah, and they're trying to blame rock and roll for the world's problems, it sounds like, when they talk about that Burning Man shit. An awkward silence by myself. Ooh. Yo, if you guys watch us on the replay, don't let this be a signifier of what's to come. Kinda wanna go watch some of the other lives, see what everybody else is up to. They was getting it. I was trying to get on over there, I didn't see no link though. Let me see this shit. What they talking about over there? Who they talking? Where is everyone? On 9/10/2001, Donald Rumsfeld had come before Congress and given a speech about the misuse of money. There had been $2.1 trillion had gone missing from a section of the Pentagon. Fast forward the next day, guess which part of the Pentagon got blown up? The same part of the Pentagon that Donald Rumsfeld had said some money had gone missing from, to the tune of $2.1 trillion. And now there was no footage of any planes hitting the Pentagon. That was one of the more controversial aspects of it. Because obviously the towers were hit by a plane. You know, there's no getting around that. But this Pentagon attack, no one was killed in this Pentagon attack besides one janitor. God rest his soul. Oh, we had two. Now we have one. Come on, who is that? Who that is? I was starting to go insane. I was here by myself. I was like, oh, I was talking to dead air. Now I'm talking to one. What's good? Yeah, I'm going to look up that speech right now. Who that is? Who there? Wait. Ah. There we go now. Then they're over there going off. Let me see this shit. We'll go back to this other one here in a second. Let's hear
plane had hit the World Trade Center.
Let's hear this son of a bitch. This bastard.
I was in the Pentagon in having a breakfast meeting.
My
with
brother.
A group of
Yeah, I was
8 or 10
trying to hold off
congressmen.
on going live, but I said fuck it. You know, I was trying to get 9/11 special in.
That we'll be
Trying to get that
concerned about and
9/11
wish that
special
we'd
in
taken the
before
steps to increase
I
our
became
defense budget.
9/12. And this man right here
The
is
senior
one of the main
military
reasons
assistant
all
came
that
in
shit
and
went
said
down.
a plane had hit the World Trade Center.
Hello!
Which clearly was an accident. That doesn't just happen.
Oh
I mean,
shit,
it was-
y'all double
it just-
dipping.
it was an accident.
Alright.
That apparently does look like it is in the other building.
Dude,
I
I
went
was
into my
7
office,
years
and then
old
he
when
came
this
back and
fucking
said a
shit
second
happened,
plane had
y'all.
hit it. And at that point,
I remember
it
the-
certainly was
in
not an
first
accident,
grade,
it was
the
an attack
teacher-
on our country.
Oh wait, I'll let Donald finish talking.
It was a nice sunny day, and suddenly all these events occurred in very close proximity.
There has been an explosion in the Pentagon.
When the plane hit the Pentagon.
But this
a
is
few
the part of the
minutes later, I think
Pentagon-
my immediate reaction was
What's
first to
up,
find
Hava?
out what in the world had happened. I
Now,
knew
it's
it was
hard
a
to find
terrorist
that
attack,
speech
and I knew the building shook. And I
where
knew
they's talking
something
about
had
$2.1
exploded
trillion
badly,
went missing from
and
the
that
Pentagon.
people were going to die.
And that's the section.
But I didn't know what it was, so my instinct was to go find out what had physically happened. Went down the hall, and outside, the field was filled with pieces of the airplane, and there were people coming out of a burning building, and smoke was billowing up, and people were on the lawn wounded. The first responders hadn't arrived yet. And then people started to come out and provide assistance to those that needed assistance. Once people arrived, my instinct was to get back to the office and start thinking through what steps might be needed. If we've had 3 attacks, what might be the next one? Eventually we launched some aircraft that were armed and were prepared to shoot down an airplane if they had to, which would have been a terrible thing to have to do. As you can imagine, an American airliner filled
This
with
is a lizard,
innocent
man.
men, women, and children, but taken over by terrorists and ready to attack, for example, the White House or the Capitol. Thanks to that wonderful group of brave passengers in the aircraft that they brought down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, that plane very likely was headed towards the seat of political power, having already attacked the seat of military power and the seat of economic power in New York. It was a terrible day, and we made a decision. I made a decision to not evacuate.
Where is the wreckage at?
Have non-essential personnel leave, but I was reluctant to leave the terrorists with the impression that they'd shut down the U.S. Department of Defense. It just didn't seem like a good idea to me. In the back of my mind, I just thought it was not a a good picture for the world to see the Secretary of Defense leaving to some undisclosed site, and I felt it was important to be there.
It'd be damn hard to find some shit on this.
I mean, this is the military's command center. You have a building that needs to swing into action.
How you doing there, Appalachian
to start
PI?
dealing with this new war.
We're reflecting on
your
some of
instinct is to go
the
to
things
scene.
that led up to all this.
As I got closer, there was this enormous black plume. In the middle of this beautiful blue sky morning in Washington, you had this ugly plume of black smoke.
From where I was standing, you could see these Navy personnel who had come to help pull people out of the damaged area, which was the Navy Command Center. You could see the water between ankle and half calf deep. It wasn't occurring to me, it was jet fuel.
The plane struck the building right at about a 40-degree angle. The wings pretty much disintegrated upon impact.
Oh, so
but
there's
the
why there's
fuselage
no
blew
wreckage,
hole
huh?
in the wall, in the limestone facade of
I
the
didn't-
Pentagon, and the rest of the aircraft followed in and continued all the way through the E-ring, the D-ring, the C-ring.
When the plane came through, if you can imagine a room full of partition furniture, and you have this force coming through there, it's taking all of that furniture and people and everything. This hole were popped out. It was kind of into that area where everything had been shoved into. Yeah.
I left the building through what's called the mall entrance. And first thing you could see, obviously, is smoke and flame. And as I get closer and closer, I see bits and pieces of something littering the grass, the field. And the first thing that was recognizable was a big piece of the fuselage. It was white
I
with
stand
a big
corrected.
red A on it.
I might stand
American
corrected.
Airlines.
That might be a piece of the plane.
And then
That
I
could be some
came
bullshit.
around the building, and then it was like a dream sequence, because there before me were some either dead or gravely injured people laying on the ground.
Yeah. But as I was saying before I put those videos on, I was 7 years old. I was in the first grade. We were in class reading some kind of story. I was probably in the same grade as the kids that Bush was reading reading that stuff to. Whenever he came in, he was like, "Oh." Let me see. Let me go back to my history. But yeah, 7 years old, first grade. The teacher from another classroom run in there, and she said, "Turn on the radio or TV." We only had a radio in the classroom. We didn't have a TV in there. She's like, the Twin Towers just got attacked. And then my teacher turned on the radio. Next thing you know, the first thing you hear coming off the radio was, "A second plane has just now hit the towers. Oh my God." And then, yeah, my teacher's like, "Kids, listen, this is history. This is your life." Sure enough, it did. And this is a tribute to the fallen victims.
The cockpit is not answering their phones. Our number one has been staffed, and our five
JH556. JH556. Yeah, YouTube is bullshit.
What's going on, Betty? Aircraft is erratic again. Problem, very erratic. Betty, talk to me. Betty, are you there?
See, I can definitely, I want to believe that it wasn't that it was a bomb planted, but the fact of the matter is it definitely was. Like this, I remember whenever I was 7 years old, this very moment, I was in class in my first grade classroom, and
United 175, New York. We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, two of them. Jules, this is Ryan. Was on an airplane that's been hijacked. And things don't go well.
Yeah, it's kind of a special day. We're the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I caught yeah, it's they have been messing with people a lot. They have been messing with people's channels a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like they won't let nobody go viral.
What are those people gonna do? All the elevators are blocked out.
Oh my God! So both towers are now.
Okay, come on, I got an aircraft 6 miles east of the White House.
Roman Prepper made a very good point today. A lot of people were very patriotic after all this shit. Everybody was patriotic after this, for sure.
United 93, that traffic for you is 1 o'clock, 12 miles eastbound 370.
Negative contact, we're looking, United 93.
United 93, Cleveland, if you hear the center right then.
I got that bit, Doc. You remaining today. You have the ball,
You have a good night, Lucky Dame, aka Sandwich.
9:47 a.m.
Hi, baby.
I wonder why you do you think it is because of all the maybe it is because there's so many live streams going on right now, so many people doing so many videos right now.
I love them very much.
Yeah, that's very strange.
And I'm so sorry
They're messing around with the communications for whenever they do the 2A grab. They don't want us to be in contact with each other.
We're 56865. We have I believe it is a Boeing 757. Can you see him up there, sir?
That's confirmed. It looks like he's rocking his wings.
Roger.
He's rocking back and forth.
We're 56865. I advise you stay away from that aircraft. Go north as fast as you can.
United
The hell is
93,
that?
have you got information on that yet?
Yeah, he's down.
He's down?
Yes.
When did he land?
He did not land.
Oh, he's down?
Yeah,
Down?
somewhere up northeast of Camp David.
Sean, it's me. I just want to let you know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York. There's lots of smoke, and I just wanted you to know that I love you always. At number 2 World Trade Center, right?
And these are the calls from the people inside of the buildings, y'all.
I'm on the 83rd floor. I'm gonna die, aren't I? No. I'm gonna die.
Liv, say your prayers. We're gonna think positive because you gotta help each other get off the floor. Now,
This reminds me of the movie The Day After. Whenever they were all getting killed in the nuclear attack. This video puts a new perspective to the things that were going on with people and the... Yeah, and after this, the Patriot Act, the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, you know, it's very sad. Very sad all this shit led up to this. And that was by... Who that is? Who that is? Well, hello, Appalachian.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Oh, shoot, let me turn this off. My bad. I hear you fine. Do you guys hear her good? Yeah, I was trying to do 9/11 special before it became 9/12. How you been doing today?
Good, how about you?
Doing pretty good myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
that video was pretty powerful, huh? That video was pretty moving.
The one you just played?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, it still breaks my heart. I get emotional. I remember that day. I was working nights at the time, and I had just gotten up. I slept late, and I was drinking my coffee and watching the news. and it hit, and everybody was really confused. They didn't know what was going on. And as soon as it hit the second tower, I knew it was bad. And I grabbed my little girl and went to my mom's, and I said, something's wrong. I was freaking out. And we sat there and watched it. And my little girl, how old are you, Pilgrim?
I'm 27.
Okay. So my daughter was about 5, and she was sitting there watching it, and she said, Mama, the city's boiling over. I'll never forget that. It was awful.
Yeah, I was in class. I got taken out of school by my grandma, but we was listening to it on the radio. We didn't have a TV in the classroom for some reason at the time, but
Yeah.
but as soon as they turned the radio on, you could hear the second tower just got hit by a plane, or another plane. The second plane just hit the tower, or something like that. The other one. And my teacher, she's like, "This is gonna be history, children. This will affect the rest of y'all's lives."
And it has, because the Patriot, I think, I don't think it was like we've been told it was. I don't know.
What I understand from the Patriot Act, to me, what it means to me is that they can look in anybody's phones, anybody's emails, anybody's text message history. They could look at your credit history. They could do anything they wanted to at any time.
Yeah, and they could do a search without a warrant. There's a lot of things they can do under the Patriot Act. And to me, that event solved a lot of problems. It checked a lot of boxes for the elite. It got rid of paperwork. It did a lot of things. And it opened the door for the Patriot Act, which, as you can see now, 20 years later, is probably going to be used in a sinister way toward us.
Exactly. They got to label the people as terrorists first before they can.
But then once they did, well, they already did. I mean,
starting to do that to their own citizens.
The Department of Homeland Security already come out and said, preppers, and basically that's what we are.
Survivalists, preppers, people 2A community.
Patriots.
Yeah, there's a Patriot database for sure. If you have an American flag in your yard, they say you're in that list. I guarantee.
Well, and I was, for years back before we had YouTube and Facebook, just in emails and phone conversations, before there were even cell phones, you had to be really careful. I remember there were red flag words that you couldn't say over the phone.
Really?
They had computers that would pick up certain words, and they would flag you to the top, and then you would get investigated. So there were words that we couldn't say in email and stuff way back, but that has progressed as technology's progressed. Now they have the algorithms that are listening to our videos and looking for red flag words. It's the same thing.
Yeah, apparently YouTube, it's been messing with people a lot. I guess it's been doing the thing where it unsubscribes people and stuff from channels a lot, and it's been taking people's comments down a lot.
Oh my gosh, I get so many comments, and I can see it'll tell me you have X amount of comments, but then I go look, and I can only see like 4, and it's telling me I've got 30. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Bushcraft family, my brother.
Hey, Bushcraft. But I was told, first week of September, I was told to be very careful this month on all platforms, because it was going to be tightening up. Whether it was Facebook, didn't matter. That they were watching.
Exactly, conservative, kind of
on people like us, that talk against the agenda or may not be liberals, and
Heard that.
So I still have stuff to say, though. Hey, Bushcraft.
What's up, Bubba?
Hey.
We got an all-star panel going on right now.
Booyah!
That's what's good.
Well, I got a strike on my 9/11 tribute video today.
You're kidding.
I got it reversed though, but still, I got the strike to begin with.
Why?
Like,
Why
I
did
never
you-
said a word on there. It was just music playing and the text going by, and that was it.
Wow.
Whose music was it? Was it like a song or was
It was YouTube music. It came from YouTube.
So it wasn't anything to do with copyright.
No, there was no copyright at all.
That's sad. Well, last week or this past week on Facebook, they were flagging things like the Constitution, saying that was a potential hate speech. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Backwoods.
What?
I heard Backwoods said something about that too. Yeah. That's crazy. It's because of the people that wrote it or something. I guess they look at them and they're like, oh, like, but you know, they're that's how they did in their time. You know, that was their society. You know, like they probably wouldn't look at our society too good. You know, like. But,
you know, I'm sick of hearing that we need to do our patriotic duty, and get the whiskey shot or whatever you want to call it. Patriotic my ass.
Oh, I did not like that Mr. Potato's Head speach. Oh,
Oh my
it's
Lord.
like he talked one thing and then said completely different opposite. Oh, we're America. We do everything together, and then he says he's losing his patience with us unused people.
And called us stinks.
Yeah.
And that, how many times did he use the word, I'm in power, I've got the power? No, we the people have the power, sir. At least I thought.
Yeah.
Are you
They
praying?
No, you saw me right here. I was like, no, I got some pouches right here. I keep on adjusting them.
Oh.
But as I keep on going that. But they don't want us to have anything like that because they don't. That's why that's why they're pushing for this jab, I think, because it's not I don't think the jab's gonna do anything. It might cause some health problems. I heard it'll cause health problems in children if they take it, like later on down the road, like with their minds. It could cause them to become like mentally handicapped and shit.
Neurological disorders and polio. They're going to say that it's a reemergence of polio.
But it's I think to me it's like it's a mark of who is willing to submit to their will. It'll show who's going to be down for doing what they're told to do.
Or how much of a percentage they can get by scaring to a certain degree. See, I think there will be something, that I've said this forever, bigger, better, badder, that is really going to scare people when you start seeing people drop. You know what I'm saying? Something extra to push.
Type stuff.
Something, yeah. I don't know what it'll be. That's why we keep our Black Swan watch list, because it could be one in a million things, you know.
Because in the Middle Ages, like whenever they were having the Black Death happening, going around, and you know there were people that were dying on the side of the street. You know what I'm saying? There were people they were burned. That's you know the Ring Around the Rosie song comes from that.
Exactly. London Bridge is falling down. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that destroyed their whole civilization. They came back stronger. You know, it got rid of the chaft.
You remember when they used to tell you how many people were infected and stuff? Now it's how many people are juiced.
Yeah, dude. 'Cause I remember I used to read reports where I'm at, it'd be like 2,000 people got it, 3,000 people got it. I'd be looking at it, but like now it doesn't even. It is like I have not seen any like these cases are here. It's like you're saying, it's people who haven't gotten it. Like
not so much, yeah.
The health department used to put out a thing saying how many people had it, how many people were in the hospital. Now it's how many people are juiced and how many are not. the percentage is.
My town did put out a report this week with how many was in the hospital, how many had it. They did that, but you're not seeing it globally like you were. That's for sure.
Little tickers all on your screen and stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to India? You heard about in India, they're supposed to be like they're being ravaged by it apparently, but now everything's calmed down.
Well, we're not here, and I don't know. I guess
Afghanistan's probably because they had a 3 spy because Afghanistan's pretty close to India too. You know what I'm saying? They had a real quick side note. They had 3 spy chiefs one from Russia, one from England, and one from from the U.S. Like they went there to meet with India because because I'm thinking this. What if the Taliban were to go to Pakistan because the Pakistan's friendly with Taliban and with the Afghanistan government? What if they were to go over there to Pakistan, sneak across the border, and steal one of those nuclear weapons? Because Pakistan's got 120 nukes, all right? Because India's got some too. Because India got given some, and then Pakistan got given some. And so, I'm thinking, what Taliban got a hold of one of them nukes? What do you think would happen? And I know that's kind of going way off a topic, though. That's just something I've been thinking about lately because all this India stuff and the vid's gone away. They're not talking about how many people got it. They're talking about how many people aren't getting the jab and who is getting it. Sorry about that, guys. I had to get that.
Oh, no. There's a lot of things that could happen. I mean, we're just at that point. A lot could happen right now.
Yeah, especially that's what I was wondering about just for today.
Are they getting the vid in Afghanistan? Does the Taliban have a problem with the?
I haven't heard. If they did, would they even tell us?
I mean, some of them were masked
until afterwards. Oh, we found out that this so and so happened.
I'm trying to share this. Let me see. But I definitely think that there's these numbers don't add up. What were the numbers at in your town, Appalachian?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. Seemed like 1,020 something had it currently, and they broke it down into who had been medicated and who had not been medicated, and most of them that were in the hospital had not been medicated. But personally, the people I know that have it have either had one or both and are sick. Now that's personally, but what they're reporting.
Before.
People I work with, a lot of people I work with have got it, and they're sick.
See, I don't know about that. I don't think that it is as effective as they want us to think it is.
If they wouldn't need an extra one.
Yeah, and keep every 6 months get a boo.
Yeah.
It's something.
Now they're saying you need to get a third one too. You heard about that?
Yeah, I mean, you get the first, second one, and then they want you to start getting these boo. That I can't say the whole word, but you know the boos.
Yeah, that's I just feel like this is leaning more towards because I feel like this too. A lot of people say that you probably already got it whenever they put the thing up your nose or something, like if they would have done anything nefarious to you. But I remember 2019 around this time, actually in October 2019, I was feeling sick. Excuse me. I'm sorry, I got a little bit of hay fever right now.
Pollen's high here.
Yeah, I'm in a. It's definitely been bad here. I can't even keep my eyes open sometimes when I'm walking around outside. But yeah, I've never felt so sick in my life as I did 2 years ago. 1 month before all this stuff went down with all this vid and all this stuff. I never felt so sick in my life. I was like, am I about to die? I was praying to God, all that. I was like, for real.
Yeah,
that's the only one I know.
February, probably our whole family got it before it was officially here, I guess. And I actually went to the hospital because it got to pneumonia. So, and I just took antibiotics and was fine after that.
Well, my husband's aunt got it in February of 2020, and she got really sick. Well, they never confirmed that that's what it was because they didn't have testing. They didn't even really know at the time. They thought she had pneumonia, maybe the flu, but the flu test was negative. Anyway, she ended up having scarring on her lungs, and they went in to do a biopsy because, like June later on that year, because they thought she had cancer. And the doctor come out and said it's not cancer. I don't know what it is. I've never seen it before. And she still has health problems from that. But we can't confirm that that's what it was.
Yeah, they didn't have no test in February. And my daughter's boyfriend at the time worked for Walmart, and he was like security, so he had to take course for it in Cleveland, and that's when one of the first in Ohio came. And then about a week later we all got sick, so that's what
My wife got it whenever she was pregnant last year. It was like in May, whenever it was really ravaging the country, supposedly. I never got it, though. My friends never got it. None of her friends ever got it. My son's perfectly fine. He might even be immune to it now. He might be some kind of super person now because of it. You know what I'm saying? But she's a Hispanic, you know, and then she's from Peru. But in the Latino community here, some of these people they don't get jobs, like.
Hey, Roman.
Some of these. Oh, what's up, my brother? What you doing, man? If you want to pop in, man, it's I can fit more people on here. It'd be an honor to talk to you again, man. But if not, that's totally chill, man. It's good to see you. But the Latino community where I'm at, they really got it. That's what I think. They look at people. They look at your name. Like if your name is I don't want to sound racist, but if your name is Hector, if your name is like Jamal or something like that, they're gonna say COVID. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And that because they can make it look like the minority communities are getting afflicted by. But a lot of the the Latino community got afflicted by it where I'm at really bad.
See, I cannot help but think, and of course I can't prove it, but that it has been targeted to certain people. I don't know if it's DNA or what.
Like the AIDS was kind of targeted towards certain community, not just the gay community though. You know what I'm saying? I think it was targeted towards like
African Americans,
the African American community as well. Yeah,
absolutely, I agree. And they're always the ones hit: the Hispanics, the Indians, the African Americans, Native Americans. Yes. They're always the ones that are hit, no matter what's going on.
It's kind of like a weird. It's like it's like an overt. I believe the Nazis won World War II and they're secretly in control of the government. We just don't know about it. They put these faces out there to act like this. They want us to believe they're against all this racism, but in reality, they want to annihilate anybody that's not what they. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to But I digress.
No, I see where you're going. See, I think of what happened over there. I don't think Hitler was alone. I think it was a global thing.
Had a lot of collaborators. Henry Ford and him were really tight buddies.
Yeah. And I don't think that agenda ever stopped, even though we won the war.
You know the eugenics, how they would, euthanize blind people, mentally handicapped people. They got that from the United States, though. In the 1920s, the United States they wouldn't euthanize the people, but they would sterilize them. If you were an alcoholic, if you were mentally impaired, if you were blind, if you had they would sterilize. They would not want you to have any more children, and they got that from us.
They often wanted to put them in homes too, or asylums, putting them up.
And they'd be getting them lobotomies and stuff, like tripping, and they'd be like, it was a very bad time. I do agree. I do think that was, like at that time, I think the 1800s kicked ass, but that part of time in history was very dark history of the United States, and like from 1890 to, you know what I'm saying? Like, because, and a lot of these people who would be put in these insane asylums would be women who would maybe just like, have an opinion or some shit like that, and then they would be given a lobotomy and shit, and they would just, or it'd be adultery, or they'd arrest you on adultery or seduction back then and put you in a prison.
It was sinister, and it's never. I don't think it's ever stopped.
Exactly, like they just
It's
have
just
to. They're still
changed.
Luciferian.
Yeah, that never changed.
Like, their agenda has always been to control us, because we're the you see the pictures where we're like the backbone. You'll see the pictures, the picture where it shows like a desk of people playing cards on it, and you see all the regular people below it holding it up. They know that we outnumber them, but we can't live without what they give us. We can't live without the TVs and shit. We can't live without the alcohol.
We have been made to think that we can't live because we have been taken so far away from, the basics that most people don't know how to live without what we see now.
Exactly.
They wouldn't know where to start.
I find myself making the mistake of if my son is freaking out or something like that, I'll hand him my phone, I'll just, something like, and he'll instantly just be like, but I never had that growing up here, you know what I'm saying? Because I was the last generation to not have phones. And, yeah, I just, and I feel like that's creating them dependent on this technology, because that is a dopamine hit. We was talking about that as all that's, your technical, all your technology is dopamine. It's just, it's a pleasurable thing, And that would be, I gotta admit, I would hate to have to live my life without my tech, but I would if I had to. It would definitely be a little bit more hard without the tech, because that's how you escape from your reality, you know what I'm saying? You playing your video games, you're doing your stuff, talking to people,
Well, that's how people cope with anxiety and boredom and all kinds of things. They don't know how to self-soothe or use their imagination, or they don't know how to cope without it.
Yeah, I did a video on it, Generation Z, called them zombies. It's just
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's exactly what they are.
And they said because I found this article. This guy wrote a book. He's a teacher, and talked about kids nowadays. They're more likely to commit. Well, I can't say that. Basically, off themselves. What else was it? And they don't want to drive. They don't want to go out and get their driver's license. They rather just use an app and have somebody pick them up.
I know a lot of people the same age as me that are that way too.
They don't want to be in a relationship. They rather just do it on the phone.
The first time I ever experienced that was we were building our house, so that was probably 2004 or 5, and my nephew come and lived with us, and we bought him a car. Because he had helped us do some work around the house. So we anyway, thought he would be excited. He could care less. And this was back in 2004 and 2005. He had no interest in the car. I was like, what are you, crazy? I would have been so happy. He could care less.
Yeah. Nobody wants to get their driver's license anymore. It's like,
I don't understand that.
That was I couldn't wait. Of course, I drove when I was like
12
years old.
Right.
My dad never. None of my mom taught me how to drive a little bit, but my dad, because I was between two homes, kind of. You know what I'm saying? But my dad was always drunk though, so he was never teaching me how to drive.
Well, I was always driving my dad home from the bar.
Yeah, he would drive.
That's how I
he'd be
learned
like,
how to
"Son,
drive.
I don't trust you to drive. I'm just gonna do it myself." And then he would just, But I finally, I'll let you guys in on a secret about me. This is, I don't care, but I finally learned how to drive whenever I was 24 years old, dudes. And I got my license when I was 24. But I used to know people that are 30 years old, don't have licenses, don't know how to drive and all kinds of shit. But I was like, dude, I'm tired of not. There's a point in my life I thought I would never even do something as simple as drive a car. And that's something that billions of people do. People in China drive cars. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they don't have any traffic laws, but they but the thing is with the that's something as simple as that, and that's what I don't know if it's society or what do you think has caused that mind? Because I feel like it's other people's mind states, like they might not feel like they could never do that, but they also like. But they just like, I felt like that's like, what need do I have? You know, but whenever I started having a family and shit like that and starting to get more serious with some, you know, before I met my wife, you know, I was getting into some of that action a little bit. I'm not going to get gratuitous or get into, but I was talking to a couple of different people, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, dude, like, who am I going to be without no car? Without, like, what am I, you know, so. And that was a very big moment in my life whenever I got my first car. And
so why did you think that you would never do that or could never do that?
Maybe it's from I don't want to like blame other people's shit because I've overpowered like the negative comments people like my dad or like certain friends of mine have said, like Graze the Bush, who still is not doing nothing with his life. And this dude said he's gonna ruin my life. I'm not gonna tell you he's gonna ruin my life. Graze the Bush. Fuck you, part of my language. But yeah, anyway, I just because I put myself down into such a because I've never been someone that was addicted to anything. I've never been someone that was you know, like on any. I was never been off anything. I just kind of, you know, just I've moved around so much. I've lived all over the United States because I never had, I don't want to say I never had nobody teach me shit, but I really never had nobody teach me anything. I had to teach myself shit, through different, I've had different lessons through shit that I've heard people, like different people I've met in my life and taught me how to do something. But other than that, it was me having to learn, And that's why I thought I couldn't. That's why I was like, I'll never be able to drive because I'm somebody that doesn't know how to do shit. But now I know. But,
well, maybe some of these kids do lack self-confidence and
exactly, but that's an excuse though. That's an excuse though. Like that's something I've had to overpower because fear is the enemy of confidence. So like I just once you get over your fear, you have nothing but confidence left.
And all you hear is my anxiety did it, and that's all you hear nowadays. Even on TV shows, they're talking. I know there's people that actually have bad anxiety and stuff like that, but
when I was in
excuse like that is
when I was in high school, it became vogue to be on antidepressants, to be depressed because all of the big stars were depressed. I didn't know what depression was, but they made it all cool. Oh, I'm so nervous and I'm so depressed. That was ingrained in us. I remember in high school, and I'm like, it was cool. I don't understand.
It's even more powerful today, though. It's an emo culture kind of deal. It's kind of like the hip-hop culture and the emo culture, like the punk rock culture, all that's kind of mixed together nowadays, guys. Like, I don't know if you guys follow some of today's music and shit, but no, it's very depressing music. It's all about drugs, and it's all about, like, Xanaxes and codeine and ODing and my girl left me. It's kind of like country music, but not, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's all about, it's like my friend died on Xanax and then my girl left me and then it's like, and then my gold chain got robbed. It's all that kind of stuff, but it's
the dog ate my ball, my Coke ball, and then
it's that kind of shit, but it'll be done in a very ridiculous manner, But yeah, like it's that kind of, it's all. A lot of these guys have died though. A lot of these rappers that these kids nowadays listen to, like a Little Peep, XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD. These guys, another one that died, Nipsey Hussle, Mac Miller. The list goes on, and a lot of these guys died. You know what they all died of? Drug overdoses and being gunned down in the streets by people that didn't like them.
That's awful.
And these are these kids as heroes.
I remember the pivotal moment, and it was when music got involved and it was a very depressing dark is when Nirvana come out. I specifically remember that. That's when everything went downhill.
I look at it because that was whenever I first discovered Nirvana. Because my mom, she is a Generation Xer. She's born in 1978. You know what I'm saying? She was like from that generation, and she is into Poison, Warrant, Rat. Used to have her hair and stuff like done up from like the people from
74
Saved by the
here,
Bell.
So
Yeah,
but it was just like that
Miss
kind of
Reagan.
influenced the. What was it? Oh yeah, from which one?
President Reagan's wife did a
Oh,
thing because heavy metal and rock was bad.
God.
And was turning kids' minds to do
Nate.
evil things.
Then Dee Snider brought some knowledge and dropped some wisdom on all of them.
that they didn't know what was horrid until Nirvana come out. That was, I'm telling you could
Because
just
he was
feel the
talking
depression.
about it was the different. You could feel like musicians in the past had done like drugs like heroin and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But this dude had really taken it to a whole nother level and put it out there that I do this.
Really bad with that.
You know what made me sick is I read his book, Kurt Cobain's biography or whatever. What a puss. I'm sorry. But he said he was so abused and all this, and he blamed his parents, and they divorced. And I'm like, son, you don't know abuse. What the hell? You had it cushy. That made me sick.
Yeah, he had a good life growing up as a child.
Compared to probably what any of the three of us had.
Yeah, dude. Like he had they taught him they taught him how to sing and play guitar. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think. I don't think he did himself though.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Courtney Love got a lot richer after his death too. She got a lot more money after she passed away. Patricia Scovish.
The one that really surprised me the most was Linkin Park. Him and
he killed it as because him and Chris Cornell are really tight with each other. And the reason they offed themselves, why the dude Chester Benningfield from Linkin Park offed himself, and the Chris Cornell, because they did not they hated the way music had become, the way music industry is today. They hate because rock and roll. This is what Chris Cornell said, because rock and roll had died, and he felt like there's no reason for him to be alive anymore. That's sad.
I don't know. Somebody, you would have to be kind of messed up to begin with for something like that to throw you over the cliff. I don't know.
See, but he was. I feel that as a musician, kind of. But but if somebody a band like Soundgarden that kind of changed music too. That's at the level of he's at a whole nother level of of a musician. About he really is a part of the music, and I can feel that. That's their life is the music, and I can respect that. I can feel that on that. But I wouldn't do it over it. I'm like, oh, rock and roll is dead. Oh shit. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's messed up.
But yeah, but they're involved in a Save the Children documentary. The connection between these two as well, and that they might not have offed themselves either. I don't want to go rabbit hole in conspiracies with you guys, but apparently Anthony Bourdain was connected with. They were all friends. Tell me, how are all three buddies working on a movie together? All three gonna off themselves within the same time period.
I don't know.
What up, bud?
Hey, bud, dude.
Hey.
I don't know. There are a lot of conspiracies. It could be that they were sacrifices. You've read about that, or that they were possessed. I don't know. Or that they stuck their nose where they shouldn't, or maybe they were going to try to get out of that lifestyle.
That's what I think. That's what
could
I
be a lot of things.
Towards. Even if you're like, man, I swear I won't say nothing. You sign all these papers.
They
all
don't
this stuff.
No.
They don't care. They want your life, because it's your life. You're in it for life, and once you
they take an oath. They take an oath. And that's taken very seriously, and you don't get out.
See you
unscathed.
later, Roman. Good
night, Roman.
And they have a. Can I? Hava says, "Did Michael Jackson have a part in the Save the Children movement?" And let me get real quick, and then I'm gonna diverge real fast. This is kind of still everything that we're talking. This is like an episode of Game of Thrones. Everything we're talking about is kind of separate, but it still connects at the end. We're still getting there connected.
I agree.
Michael Jackson. If you look at a picture, let me show you this.
He was a sick puppy.
There's a part I used to believe that, but then I saw a couple of documentaries and I looked at a couple of different things, man.
Well, I'm not saying he necessarily. I don't know about the whole deal with children, but a grown man that wanted to be a child ain't normal. That ain't right. He still has a problem.
That's the entrance to it right there. It's because he was, as a child, he was. Oh, my bad. As a child, he, his dad, Joe Jackson, was a very bad dude. You know what I'm saying? Would scrape forks in his acne, would beat him, would like let people do bad stuff to him and stuff. A part of these cult rituals.
Yeah.
But Michael Jackson, there's no way that you're not gonna, if they want you to look bad, they're gonna make you look bad.
Absolutely.
But he was Q before Q even started, if you want to get, if you believe in that shit. If you believe in Q. Because he was a part of the, because everybody that made accusations against this man, whenever they became adults, they came out and said their mom or their parents, their dad and shit, they made them lie about the shit.
Probably paid the parents to coerce the children or something.
But they did. Michael Jackson was he's going to bring out info. He was getting these children away from you can't bring out too much info against these people or else that'll cause societal collapse and shit. You know what I'm saying?
But I think eventually it's going to come to light and it's going to be socially acceptable.
Yes.
Because they're already trying. I was born that way. I was born to love children that way.
California, they had that 10-year age gap rule.
Disgusting. But I have nothing against people who choose the homosexual.
Exactly.
Okay. I have nothing against people that choose a homosexual lifestyle, and I do think it's a choice. I'm sorry.
I do too.
And I know there's a lot of different opinions about that, but that's just mine. Where was I going? When he popped off, I got distracted.
But you were saying it's we're kind of moving towards more to where pederasty is accepted and shit.
Yes, but when they made it a law that homosexuals could get married and that became socially acceptable, that opened Pandora's box for them to say, well, I was born this way. I was born to love children. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not blaming the LB or the homosexuals for that or saying that they're pedophiles at all.
No.
I'm just saying it opened the door, Pandora's box.
Exactly, because they're trying to move back towards it was in Roman times again, I feel like. Because, back then it wasn't, they didn't, that's who we base our whole society off of. Our whole civilization is based off the Roman and Greeks.
You're absolutely right. The Gregorian calendar.
Yeah,
everything.
These were very nasty people, very dirty. The way that these dudes, they want to I'm gonna come out and straight up and say I'm a Christian, but I'm not but I do not believe in gay marriage. I'm not against gay people.
Right.
I'm not against gay people at all.
I
don't believe in a state sanctioned gay marriage like that where it's forced or a church will get some kind of where they I believe that it's kind of on a but I believe that it's kind of... I do believe that is a theory that I've held for a long time, is that the law, where it becomes law of the land, that is going to lead towards people being allowed to marry animals or people being able to have unions with...
it opened Pandora's box.
For all kinds of sexual depravities,
Absolutely.
The sexual freedom is more important than your personal freedom. To these people, it's your sexual and your bodily freedom is more important than protecting your home or or raising your family. They don't want somebody to raise a family. They don't want a mother and a father. They don't want...
Well, for years, the family dynamic has been under attack, and it started with when women went into the workforce, and they took women out of the homes. And I know a lot of progressive women their heads are gonna fall off, but but I think that happened because you had a lot of men and women, and then they started having affairs, and then divorce became a big deal. The family dynamic has been under attack for a long time because the correct calendar, I know it's not the Gregorian. No, it's not the Jewish, it's the biblical calendar. You have to go back to the word. It's the moons. God set up and that's a whole nother thing, but God set up all the months and the times. It's all in the Old Testament, Genesis. All the months that we should be living by. And that's why you can't go on prophecy. When you study prophecy, you can't go by the Gregorian or the Jewish calendar. You have to go by the biblical calendar or you'll be lost.
I'm looking at the biblical, looking it up. There's a lot of stuff explaining it.
Yeah. When you get into that, you'll start being open to a lot of different understanding biblically. When you can understand the God's calendar versus the one we live by.
Because it says, I feel like there is a big falling away from God and belief in Him in our society and within everybody I know, really. Like, I feel like, I feel like the people I know are kind of, because I'm talking about God to them a lot, they're kind of having that, that thought in their head. But, I feel like we're getting closer to the time whenever people have completely forgotten about God as a whole with a greater society as it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we've been sliding down a slope ever since the late 1800s, early 1900s, when a lot of pagan practices become part of Christianity.
With that Aleister Crowley bastard.
Yeah, 1904, wasn't it? Is there a name for the calendar? I'm aware of the seasons and moons. It's just, I tell you where you can go, Hava, is newtutora.com, or look up Seven Trumpets Prepper. Seven Trumpets Prepper on YouTube. He is real strict with the biblical calendar. That's where you can find more information about that.
No, some people believe the Earth is only about 6,000 or 7,000 years old, and I could see that if you like at the time frame of civilizations, like it's only been 100 years since 1920. And we've gone like way like.
Yeah, we went a long way, but I believe that. I believe that. You're welcome, Hava. I believe the biblical creation, and I think that all of this science and it's 15 billion years old. I think that's all part of the whole evolution and the religion of science.
I do think science has become the new religion too. And it's like, it's not just science, like, evolutionary science, it's psychiatric science, it's, it's all the, it's the, I don't know if that's science though, is it?
I think it would be a sector of science, a study, because they study people, psychology and psychiatry, yeah. That's a science.
These different mental illnesses and issues people have are, like we say, they keep on skyrocketing, and people keep on getting more and more like problems.
Yep.
Well, it's our lifestyle and our society and the technology, and see, we don't live like we're supposed to, and we haven't in a very long time, and our body's mind and soul doesn't function well. The further away from God you get, the less better off you're going to be. The worse off you're going to be.
just like nobody cooks anymore. It's just
Yeah.
have somebody deliver it to my door. Don't even go outside now.
My
You're
son-in-law,
wasting money on DoorDash.
my daughter and son-in-law are 25, and that's one reason why he married her is because she cooks. Most 25-year-old girls do not know how to cook.
Yeah.
So I got Mrs. Pilgrim. She be cooking up some damn good meals. I got pretty lucky with that.
Well, what did you say? She's
from Peru.
Yeah. So she has a different,
Oh yeah.
you know, that's a
Yeah, the way
culture.
that like she looks at like the way that like, you know, because like they look at like a, you know, because they'll be looking at American people, you know, as like drug users and partiers and shit like that. But you know, we you know, we'll be looking, because I was like, we got an argument. I was like, yeah, drugs come from the area of the world that you're from. She's like, we're the people that fucking want them and shit, and like come from where you're at. And I was like, well, that makes sense and shit, because if we didn't want it, they wouldn't be selling the shit.
A lot of countries think that we're like the wild, wild west because so many people in America have guns and they see all these shootings on.
Oh, she's
on the
desensitized
news.
to the guns now at this point. Yeah, but before it was like, oh my god.
But a lot of countries think we're like the wild, wild west over here, you know.
Yeah, they'll be thinking, like, I watched a cop in Australia. They asked him, he's like, do you want to be a cop in America? And he was like, no, they have too many guns over there. Like,
That's what they think.
But nah, dude, I always tell that if I get pulled over, which I don't, and I haven't, but I have been before, but I was like, I'm like, sir, I have a concealed carry permit. My weapon is right here on my waist.
I
have
always
my keys
disclose
right-
that. Y'all, I got
That's in the
pulled
contract.
over. I think I was profiled, kinda. I got pulled over not long ago, and I had all my windows down. I had my bug out bag in the back seat, and I didn't think anything about it, but I've got a machete that sticks up out of it.
Oh boy.
And this cop pulled me over, and he said one of our undercover police officers called me, and that's why I'm pulling you over. He said I didn't have a seatbelt on.
No.
But he was just checking out, because when he come up, I could see him in my side mirror, and he was walking up, and he looked over, and he eyed that bag hard. And then he seen me, and he grinned. I guess maybe I looked like Mickey Mouse, so he thought I was harmless. But
Yeah, but if I saw you, I would, if I was a cop, I'd be like, well, this just seems like a mistake.
Remember back in the days when trucks used to carry their
oh yeah, behind my
Yeah,
head, sitting in the middle
yeah.
of the seat, we had the rifle right back there.
Yeah.
That was
That
the
was-
way
that
of
was normal.
life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Kids, the guys in high school before, because they would be going hunting after school,
Yeah.
they would pull in the parking lot with their stuff behind them. And all boys in high school carried knives. Nobody never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
It was just a way of life.
Do you guys want to watch a video what happens if you carry a knife towards a cop? No, I don't know if you guys
No,
want
I'm
to see
good.
that. No, my bad.
I'm good. I don't care. I don't care to see that. I'm not gonna do that. So
I like to
Nice
see
seeing
those
you
things.
on YouTube.
I like to see. I'll be doing reviews of stuff like that all the time and stuff. But I've been watching those. I look at those as like self-help videos and stuff. You know, like just for people.
self-help.
What's up, Klingon
What
Princess?
not to do? Hey, Cleon.
Yeah, like it's I'll be doing it'll be off of police activity. I'll be doing reactions to some stuff off that sometimes, you know, because it's and also I look at what the officers do, and I'll get some tactical you know, some little tactical knowledge.
Yeah.
from these
Well,
dudes,
hey,
you know.
heck yeah.
They'll
Gonna
be
need
making
all that
Swiss
when you
cheese
get.
out of these guys, dude. So these officers, like, most of the time, they'll be knowing what they're doing. Yeah.
You know what? Some of the coolest fighting stuff is that you can pick up is go back and watch like World War II, where they were training the soldiers and stuff. It is awesome. You can pick up a lot of cool stuff. It's all in black and white. They were mean.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel like they would have done.
They can't do that anymore. In,
I know. I don't want to be disrespectful.
basic
to it.
training and stuff.
Yeah, like.
Oh yeah, this one guy, he said there's no rules in fighting, just stomp their guts out. This one,
And these are all lean, mean fighting machines too. These are all dudes 150 pounds and shit, smoking cigarettes and stuff. Like they're ready to go.
It's awesome.
Like we
and
lost
they taught
them
a lot of women that too back then.
to protect the home front. You know, yeah, to protect it. You know, if it came back.
Well, they sent them in. They would send women in to do certain jobs. I can't think of what they were called because they were not suspected. So it was easy for them to infiltrate.
Yeah, there's a lot of in World War II. There was a lot of female spies because they could get in.
Well, so there's so many different spies and like going on each side. Like, oh my bad.
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, guys. Well, I gotta go. I couldn't stay long, but I appreciate you having me come up. It was good to see you, Bushcraft and Pilgrim. Y'all have a wonderful night, and thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next time, Appalachian.
Yes, sir. Booyah.
But yeah, Bushcraft, that World War II, I tell you what, America, like, we've taken our losses. I think I somewhere to the tune of we've lost in all of the wars that we fought. I think we've lost like maybe somewhere around 10 million, maybe something like that, maybe 5 million or some number like that of soldiers. But as a testament to how kick-ass our country is, everybody else that we fought against, they lost 5 to 10 times as many in each war. No matter. Straight up, dude. In World War II, we killed hundreds of thousands of Germans and Japanese, dude. Like,
yeah, and Russia, they lost a lot.
Oh, that was a meat grinder, Stalingrad, dude. That was that was a meat grinder, 7-year-long battle or some shit like, or 5-year-long battle or something like that. The longest battle in history. They were massacring these Russians, man. Like they were killing them by the millions and shit. The Germans, they killed 6 million Jews, but they killed like 17 million people in there, like that were civilians and shit though. So yeah, you know, it definitely. But you know, I feel like, man. I feel like the Nazis won that war, man. I honestly do. I don't want to go too like rabbit hole, but
well, it's not. I wouldn't say just Nazis. It's that percentage of higher up people.
Because they had people that liked their ideas here in the United States, dude.
Oh yeah. There still is.
Yeah, straight up, man. Like, and they you know, and it's easy. I could say it would be easy for somebody to get radicalized by some shit like that if they were like susceptible, I guess is the word. If they were feeling, you know, like off of American History X, how when they'd be going to play basketball at their basketball court and shit, and then they'd be getting pissed because like these other dudes who these other guys and shit who are different from them would be playing and that kind of shit, man. I feel like society is kind of. I don't feel like racism is as bad as it used to be, though, man. Honestly, like I feel like I know
it's a different type of now.
Yeah, I feel like the worst thing that you can call a white person or a liberal kind of person, shit like that, is a racist, dude. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I've never said nothing in my life. That's like. There's no
to me,
shit.
Like certain flags and stuff. I don't know if you get in trouble for saying that certain flag, but to me, it's just a flag. But a lot of people think of it as being racist.
I don't look at the Dixie flag as racist at all, man. Because I have like some like family. You probably could get in trouble for calling that shit what it's commonly known as. But like, I don't look because I have a little bit of some of my I don't think my family tree, man. My ancestry.com shit is messed up, dude. I don't want to talk about that shit. But this shit, dude, but like a lot of people, if they saw my ancestry.com shit, a lot of people would probably they'd be tripping if they saw there, but. I think my ancestry.com shit is cool. It goes all the way back to England, 22 generations from my son to his to his 22nd great granddaddy. But but you look at these histories sometimes and you're just like, is this shit? I just went squirrel for a second. All talking about all that, it's like, oh man, I shouldn't reveal that information. I don't want to. But yeah, man, it is a new kind of racism, though.
I think if it something like statue, I look at it as talking about an era of time of what happened then. And yes, there was bad things that happened then, but still, that statue is not racist. I think the people who think it's racist are the racists, because why would you think that? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, that person in that statue did a bad thing, but they have statues of other people that done a lot worse things.
They'd probably put a statue of Mao Zedong up in Richmond now that they take General Lee's statue down. It'd be putting it, but yeah, dude, because like these statues, dude, like these what are they gonna do with them once they take them down? Are they gonna put them? Are they gonna put them up in a museum? Or are they gonna melt them down? Or are they gonna throw them away or some shit?
Yeah, they're just stuck in storage somewhere. I mean, to me, instead of getting rid of the statue, put a plaque down it and saying this person did this, but they also did this, and we learned from this type of thing.
And they can't no longer be a symbol of their of that area. They lose a symbol of their cultural identity in that area. Being like, let's say they're from like Alabama or some shit, and they had to take down some of their shit. Who did they relate to?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be racist shit, dude. Like, it's not
It's what you look at it is. To me, I don't look at different colored people any different than they're just a person.
Exactly.
And that's what irritates me. Everybody has to put labels on everything now. I won't go into that LG. I can't even keep up with all the.
It's an infinite alphabet plus a couple different languages added to it. I'd like to see them go to Afghanistan or go to Saudi Arabia or go to Syria or some shit. These places where they are like, oh, these people are good people. And yes, there are probably good people that live there. They're probably just living in fear right now, and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm a good regular person and shit." There are probably people there who are just like you and me, dude. But they're probably there, but they're in a shit at the fan situation though. They can't just be a regular chill person, like.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, they. What was you doing 9/11, Bubba?
Actually, feeding my daughter. She born in 2000, so.
Oh shit! So she's a baby.
Yeah, I was feeding her, and my wife come running in, said there was a bombing, and went in the living room and strolled my daughter in because she was in one of the little walkers. Strolled her in there, and I was feeding her, and I said, why would they bomb way up there? Because it was smoking, it was smoking from up top, and then there was a report said a little passenger plane flew in there, and I was like, that's a lot of smoke for a passenger plane. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, we seen a big plane come in. And
wow. See, man, I didn't watch. They took me out of school.
Oh yeah, and what was it? Bush sitting there listening to it because you could tell they went over and told him saying what had happened, and he's just sitting there listening to the little kid tell us read the book and whatnot. And I'm like, nowadays, oh boy, they would impeach. If that happened
everybody
nowadays,
was. Oh yeah, man. They would. I don't even know. I'm surprised nothing happened today, being the 20th anniversary and all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that I was kind of worried about that.
keeping an
myself.
eye out. Yeah, I was keeping an eye out too. I was. Yeah, because it was everybody. That was the only time I've ever seen in my life where everybody stood together as in the whole country, Democrat, Republican. There was no. I didn't know. I don't even think there was such thing as conservative and liberal back then. I don't. There might have been, but I don't remember it because it wasn't like today we're ready to go to war with each other, but back then it was just.
Yeah.
It was just what it was, but everybody was patriotic though. American flags in every door, every window, like every community, every neighborhood.
Everything
People
was
were enlisting.
fire department and police is a big thing in military. Now it's like
Klingon makes a very good point. He didn't want to upset the children, so he held his response. He was just like, "Oh,
I don't know."
That makes sense. If he would have, let's see this shit. Let's watch this real quick.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's a little suspect to me, though, that $2.1 trillion went missing on 9/10, the day right before all that shit went down at the Pentagon, and then that part of the Pentagon is the one that got hit by the plane the next day. It don't add up. Let's see this shit.
9/11, of course, a turning point in American history, and Booker Elementary School in Sarasota will further of that history.
Sarasota.
17 years ago today, President George W. Bush was at the school for a reading event when his chief of staff, Andrew Card, whispered in his ear about the attack.
He looks like he's about to
President
cry.
Bush was made aware. In the years since this moment, the president has talked about what he was thinking when he first got the news. He says he was thinking, quote, "Who the hell would do that to America?" The president was later criticized by some for his initial reaction, basically not getting up out of that chair and running out of the room. But the president says he wanted to project a sense of calm for the Booker Elementary School students. It was an unbelievable moment that took place right here in the Tampa Bay area. 10 News reporter Isabel Mascareños was at Booker Elementary.
He got an injury on his forehead.
covering
You
the
see that?
president's visit. Tonight, he catches up with teachers who remember every moment from that day right here on.
Wow, this I get to see him thinking to himself inside of his head, him being like, "Oh man, who the hell do that to America, man?" Like, so,
Yeah, nowadays, if that happened nowadays, oh boy, everybody be like
Potato.
If T-Man was sitting there and well, it wouldn't make any difference. They would call it impeach him anyway. But
Yeah, they just say like to eradicate it, like his place in history as president never existed, something like that.
they're still trying to do that.
What do you think Potato would do if something like this happened during his presidency? I was watching my bad.
Well, just the stuff that happened over in Afghanistan, the way I was so pissed. The way he kind of just blew it off and then tried to act like he was heartfelt.
But he falls asleep during a lot of his meetings that he has with other world leaders. I've been watching a lot of videos of that. Who is in charge?
Himself.
Who is in charge though? Because I feel like there's no way that this dude is actually the one that I don't like. It's like it's his cab, because you know how Bush is another dude, like he wasn't really in charge. I feel like Cheney and Rumsfeld were in charge, and a couple other dudes, McNamara, they were in charge of him. They kind of held the reins. But I feel like but with Kamala, with I don't know what is this. What is she doing? What does she have? You heard any speeches from this woman? Like I haven't heard nothing from her.
Because I didn't watch TV today, but I heard that they were both supposed to go to or say a speech or something for 9/11 today. But like I said, I didn't watch any of that, so
I didn't see nothing like that either. I've been trying to see if there'd be any. There ain't been no new riots going on, man. There ain't been the riots have all been died. They've all died.
Oh
down.
yeah, didn't they put fences back up?
Yeah, I heard that airsoft guns are a big problem. They're going to be looking at now too because of the security issues and shit. So that might affect airsoft guns throughout the whole United States just because of that.
Who was
Airsoft
it?
guns?
The pellet guns. Somebody. Who was it? Somebody in California is running for governor, and his security got shot with pellet guns, and you can see some girl. I guess it was a girl in a
Larry Elder.
Yeah, a gorilla outfit and throwing eggs at it, which bad aim in the first place. You're that close and you hit him in the back of the head.
And it was kind of racist though because she was a. Because Larry Elder is a cool dude. He's on our side, kind of. I don't know if I'd say our, but he's a conservative leaning kind of guy. I don't want to say our side but he is Republican, But he's going against Gavin Newsom, and I think Larry Elder could make California a nice place again. Klingon, you live in California. What do you think about Larry Elder? But he's a cool dude though. He was cool with he's cool with T-Man. But from what I know about him, he's not too bad of a dude. I'm not a part of the T-Man cult anymore.
Well, the thing, when he was president, and everybody thought he was going to be president again, we're on his bandwagon, so to speak. And I think it makes you wonder how many of those people are actually with him and not just saying it so they get his votes, his crowd. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah, they want to project that image, but not really be conservative or not really be a 2A or like a Republican, as it were. I could see that, man. That's why you got to do like deep dives into some of these people. You could find out some I found out some stuff about Trump that I didn't think was that cool, but that didn't cause me to. Yeah, and it's and he has a radio show too. Okay. I'll have to listen to a little bit of that. I'll have to listen to some of Larry Elder.
Yeah, I know he came from radio, didn't he? Something like that.
Really? Have a radio talk show host as the governor. Hope maybe a radio talk show host as president.
Well, had Arnold.
Oh man, see he. I'm hating this man now. He used to be kind of a personal hero of mine and shit. For athleticism and stuff.
Yeah, the way he came in. Just nobody.
Screw your freedom. He said, "Screw your freedom. Get the jab." I was like, Arnold, dude, like you used to jab steroids, sir, and it was on record that he said he did. But that sucks, dude. I was like, wow, man. And all these people are talking about screw your freedom, get it. But yeah, I'm gonna check out some Larry Elder. The only other options that they have is this is what California has, bushcraft. And could you imagine this for your state? You have what's the transgender name? Caitlyn. I don't want to be insensitive. Caitlyn Jenner running for the Republicans as well. I don't know if they're still running. Gavin Newsom. Who is he looks like the Joker without makeup, and then he got Larry Elder, and dude, out of those three, I'd Larry Elder, He has his talk show host. I can relate to that. He's Republican. I can slightly relate to that. You know, I voted. Each time I've ever voted in my life as a Republican, I've only voted 3 times. But when I was 18, dude, I voted for Mitt Romney, dude. But it's only because, dude, because like I was just not down for Obama at all whatsoever. But that's a whole nother episode to get down. We, you know, we can do a deep dive in Obama's life and shit, and how I don't believe he was really, you know, I feel weird saying it because, like, I don't believe Obama was really technically the first black president because, like, I think the first black president to me would be somebody who would, like, because his dad's from Africa, you know what I'm saying, and his mom's from Kansas. To me, it would be somebody who grew up in Chicago and their family came over from Africa, like, 500 years ago or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, somebody who grew, you know, and that would be... But that's another ruse right there. Like he got so many votes. Like he was probably one of the most dirty. He's got a lot of kills underneath his belt during like a war and shit. You know.
Oh yeah, there's tons of them.
And a lot of people I know who voted for him regret voted for him though. Now they only voted for him because they felt like it was the right thing to do. I need to get my friend Chief and Jane on here. He's a member of the Nation of Islam, but he's cool though. He's like one of those. You remember those dudes who the not effing around crew who were marching on the Stonewall Monument in Georgia and all that stuff. And they're marching in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He's kind of like one of those dudes. He believes that that white people were created by a mad scientist and shit kind of stuff. But he's a really good friend of mine though. I think that you'd have a good time talking to him too, dude. Like, but he gets down though. He's pro-Trump though, so what's crazy about it. You know, Farrakhan is pro-Trump a little bit too. So like, you would think, but I don't like any of that shit. You know who Farrakhan is friends with as well? Is David Duke, one of the leaders of the Ku Klux Klan. Like, and they're tight with you, but they don't like each other's things, but they want to, they like each other's messages, though, because they'd like to make separate countries for each other. And both of these dudes endorsed Obama. And, you know, isn't that crazy? A lot of the Klan endorsed Obama and shit just to give him bad images for some reason, even though that didn't work. But yeah, dude, I think that I think it's cool that we're destroying racism, but I don't think it's cool that it's kind of like being shifted,
morphing into a new type of racism.
Like a hatred. I don't want to say it's like a hatred of a. I think it's definitely there's a hatred of manhood. There's a war on manhood right now for sure. There's a war on our masculinity. There's a war on on men being men. There's a war on
Yeah, when they teach it in school, I'm so glad my kids are not in school nowadays.
My son, he'd probably be starting school in 4 years or some shit like that. He's gonna be starting school in 4 years. And dude, it's gonna be by the time I'm in Tennessee, but I know even though I'm in Tennessee, the schools and the teachers have their own agenda.
Yeah.
You know, it just be they went to college somewhere. But that's what it is though, man. But I'm gonna teach my son controversial shit. I'm gonna teach him history. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, yeah, they say Christopher Columbus was this, but in my opinion, he was cool. And then I would have said,
yeah, everybody from history, they find something that's.
They're swashbucklers, dude. They were adventurers. They live in their lives in their time. Could you imagine being an 18-year-old Spaniard conquistador coming to America back? You know what I'm saying? They were living their lives, dude. That was their time, dude. You know what I'm saying? That was not good. You know, that'd be messed up if we were to do some shit like that nowadays. But we look at what the Vikings did. We're like, oh, the Vikings kick ass. But they were doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But that's history, though. Like people. We build our high cities, our big walls, and our giant buildings and shit. That's what America has become, a high city. And what happens is people on horseback from the outside, Mongol raiders and shit like that will come and they'll take over and shit. And then 1,000 years later, 500 years later, the people that took over, they'll be taken over and shit because we've become too comfortable, dude, and we're getting taken over by a Nazi ideology. You know what I'm saying? By a liberal. Not everybody thinks Nazi is racist. It is racist, but it's not just. It doesn't have to just be racism. It's the Nazi shit. You know, Nazi. It's about authoritarianism and controlling your mind. And they were trying to eliminate Christianity. The Nazis were. They're trying to make like a state religion where Hitler was the Messiah, but they believed in. They still believed in like the old German gods, kind of still a little bit. Like the dudes, they were like D&D players and shit. These Nazi high command people, like they were into the occult. They were summoned. They would be tripping on these mushrooms and shit. They'd be summoning. They would think they'd be summoning demons and shit. They'd be doing all kinds of drugs. All these Nazi high command guys. And who's to say what they might have seen? You know, who's to say what they might not have seen? But these guys were. They're definitely on a negative path, though, for sure, dude. That's history, though, man. We look at that up to what it was, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everything there's a big hatred for the Jewish people throughout all of history, and you know they were having a lot of hatred on them before that. But like the attitude towards these people before World War II was already pretty.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time back.
But it wasn't like, oh, World War II, all of a sudden people started killing Jews and shit. Like, no.
That's been going on for ages.
They were persecuted bad in the Soviet Union as well.
Yeah.
So they had, like, at the end of Schindler's List, the dude came on horseback and he said, they were like, where are we going to go? And they said, you can't go to Russia because we don't want you there, and you can't stay here because they had no place, and that's why they created Israel. They had no place to go. But yeah, that's history. You know, who would have thought all of that would have led up to 9/11, though? Who would have thought all of that, like the end of World War II, because that led up, you know, that the war, like the Cold War, the Soviet Union needed to hold on to Afghanistan, and you know that in that way, you know, and we trained the Mujahideen who became the Taliban, and boom, 9/11, and the drugs, the crack, the guns, the gangs, the wars, the violence.
Did Afghanistan or Taliban or whatever have they ever did anything like 9/11 to Russia?
No, I don't think though. They have Russia has other Muslim countries under their control that have done shit like that to them, though. Yeah.
I mean, in that scale.
But yeah, there's been some Chechenian bombs, I think, that killed like 1,000 people at a train station or some shit. You know what I mean? That's a lot, but 9/11 had 3,000. But nothing to that level of like a major trade center and shit like that, like where. But no, they got attacked. But in Russia, they don't allow Muslim people, and they do allow Muslim people, but like. They have an ancient understanding with Muslim people. That's why these Muslim countries didn't turn against them for the Ottomans. They didn't, because Russia had to go to war with the Ottomans for hundreds of years, right? And the Muslims that live in, like, you know where Khabib Nurmagomedov from MMA and UFC? He's probably the greatest UFC fighter of all time. He's from Dagestan, and they're Russians, but they're Muslims as well. You know what I'm saying? And they're Chechnya. That's another. The Chechenians are the ones that have a lot of problems with they'll be doing terrorist attacks a lot. Yeah, she's in California. Yeah, she is in California. That's why we're wearing the shirt too. But that because in Afghanistan, dude, they don't. We got Super Saiyan. Bushcraft's going Super Saiyan 3. They don't like they have like in Afghanistan they're Muslims, right? But like it's like difference between like Pentecostals and Baptist. You know what I'm saying? And they'll kill each other over that too. From what I was studying, I'm not an expert on this shit. I've never been there, But you know,
Yeah.
they're still rolling with the trauma of Genghis Khan killing millions of people there like 500 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's castles that's over from the Mongols there. You know, 'cause the people, they deal with this trauma from whenever you know, because that's what I think. I don't want to blame like shit that's happening, but I think that's in the United States. Some of the problems that some communities have here is through trauma that's happened, you know, in the past to them and shit, that they, you know, it's the conquer, you know, people who
Yeah.
have been conquered and shit have trauma in their DNA. But yeah, they I don't know if there's ever been a terrorist attack like that in any country. Like, you know, I think I think we probably got everybody beat as far as casualties go for a major terrorist attack. But we fucking probably paid those guys money and shit too to do that shit.
Oh
as
yeah.
well.
Half the stuff we'll probably never know about. Maybe our kids will find out one day.
Because you know about the Gulf of Tonkin. Have you ever heard about the Gulf of Tonkin incident?
Not right off.
Check into this and you get the time. Gulf of Tonkin incident happened, and I don't know, is it right before, it's what led up to the Vietnam War, why we had to put soldiers in Vietnam, because a boat, an American vessel, got sunk by the North Vietnamese, by the NVA. And the next thing you know, oh, we gotta go to, it's all, they tried to make it like a, and you got another Pearl Harbor, that's another famous incident. We knew about that 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
And then we went to war with Spain too in 1899. But you know why? Because we said that Spain attacked one of our ships and shit off the coast of Florida, which was proven to be a lie. But we took over Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Philippines, all kinds of shit.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, dude, we be making up lies. You know, it's no problem to make a blood sacrifice of civilians and soldiers for these people to get
Look
their,
at all the
their shit.
Iraq. All the
With the yellow cake uranium and shit.
yeah, they said that there was weapons of mass destruction over there, and
Coalition
never found any.
nations. Yeah, dude, that Iraq, that is a very ancient place too, though. That used to be where Babylon, and that used to be where they used to be where all that shit's at. You're making me want to go to Oregon right now. But yeah, dude, it's just everything, dude. Even if you look at it, the stuff in the Bible led up to 9/11 as well, man. You know, I used to have this, my friend's dad, Mr. Brian. He might as well be my friend now at this point. We've known each other so long. This dude, he was telling me that whenever the Twin Towers fell, because in the Bible it says one of the things leading up to Revelations, he told me, was Babylon would fall a second time. The new Babylon would fall. And he told me that whenever you broke the Twin Towers down to all the rooms and shit, everything inside of it, it was around the same size of the ancient city of Babylon. Once you broke down both buildings and shit and put them in, like.
Well, there was the buildings around it too, because it was just not the two towers.
There was a school right there by it too, huh? Or in between it or some
close
shit.
to it.
Yeah,
Close
man.
to it.
So many people, dude. I cannot imagine, dude. Like, so many people died, man. Like, Angry Prepper was an EMT during all that.
Yeah, I know.
That was a young Angry Prepper, too. You know what I'm saying? That's probably like a 20-year-old Angry Prepper, 22, 25, some shit like that. So, that's crazy, man.
I was there, last time I was in New York City was 91.
It was probably more fun back then, huh?
Oh, it
Probably a bit more wild. I went there a couple months ago. It was more family orientated.
I would say it was more grungier back then.
It's like off the Scorsese movies.
Because I was at the bus stop, because I had to stay there for a day and a half, I think it was. And I just walked around the city because I didn't want to sit in the thing waiting for a damn bus for a day and a half. So I just went out and had pizza and talked to people. And evidently, some of the areas I went was supposed to be really bad that you weren't supposed to go. And I never had any issues or anything. Nobody tried to, because they said it was real. The crime was real bad there and stuff. And I never seen any of it.
That's what they tell us to keep us separated.
And I remember because I walked over and I seen the Empire State Building, and I also seen the towers. Because I went up to them and just looking up because if they say if you look up them tall buildings, you can see them move a little bit. So I always wanted to go up to the buildings and see if I could see them moving.
Dude, them buildings were some of the biggest buildings. I've never seen some shit like that, man. Some of these things were apartments, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like, now that you mentioned it, that's kind of. Did you see anything moving?
I don't know if it was actually moving or just
It's just
clouds.
because the human mind, like, we weren't made to see shit like this. Like, that's why I heard that epilepsy might have been started because it was because and this is my buddy. He has epilepsy, and he was doing some research on this, and he told me about it. That whenever people first started building cities, and you saw all these, you see how all the concrete and all the cement and stuff, and all the bricks are like, and it's like these perfect patterns and shit, and it's like, and these buildings, and people were not because if you look out in nature where we was at before we moved in the cities, you see all this sacred geometry, all these leaves, all these pine cones, all, you know, like the natural shapes. But then you see these man-made shapes in the city, and the human mind can't process it, and they start having seizures and shit. And the people used to think those people were demon possessed and shit, and that was the rise of possession stories. And all
witches and devil worshippers and
vampires, all that shit, and this shit that all started around the same time as the cities getting built. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking up some of what he's telling me. I was like, man, this makes a whole lot of sense, dude. Like, that's crazy, man. And a lot of stuff that we have problems are brought onto us by ourselves. But yeah, whenever I went to New York City, I had my boy with me and my wife. We had a good time though, man. It was definitely there wasn't that many people there though, I'd have to say. Like, as we went around March or something like that, and there still but it was nice though, man. And I didn't go out and, you know, because I was with my family and shit like that, so I didn't get that. You know, if I wouldn't have been though, my wife, she's wanting to go out at night and shit and walk around and shit. It was in Manhattan, but I was like, yeah, you know, but I was so afraid I was gonna get mugged or robbed.
Yeah, that's all you hear about is how bad. If you go in a certain part of town, then you're asking to get mugged, and
it wasn't even nothing like that.
Yeah,
it ruined my time because I was worried so much about that. I mean, it didn't ruin my time, but my time would have been a lot better if I wouldn't have been so worried about that shit.
Yeah, you probably if you were by yourself, you wouldn't have cared.
Yeah, exactly, man.
It's a little bit different when you have your family.
Exactly, man. Because I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to get robbed with my family. I don't want nothing in my family to get hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying, dude? Like, I think
people sense that too. If you show a little fear and stuff, and you're an easy mark.
Exactly. It's a predator looking for some prey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was driving around there too, dude. And even though it wasn't that many people there, dude, there was still a whole lot of people there, dude. Driving around. I was driving around the wrong road. I went down the wrong.
I wouldn't want to drive in there.
Dude, it was hard, man, because people, they have no problem cutting you off, dude. They have no problem trying to get in front of you and shit, dude.
New York drivers are a breed all to themselves.
I got cussed out 2 different times, dude.
Yeah.
This lady, I was trying to let her walk into her car, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Ma'am, I'm trying to let you get into your car," and then I just drove past her. And I
'Cause
was like, what?
I lived in upstate New York, Poughkeepsie. Um, and then I took the bus from there and then I had a layover in the city. That's why I said in everywhere it was real dirty. There was trash all over the place, and the streets were just horrible looking. But like I said, I didn't have any issues with nobody. I went around and I tried to get in some buildings because I wanted to go up to the roof and look around, but yeah, you can't do that. It, they had because you can go up on the Empire State Building and they have it to where you can look in the little binoculars and things, and it was closed off when I was there. I was like, oh man.
That sucks.
Yeah.
They had they went back again a couple weeks ago, and they tried to get in the Empire State Building, but they said you had to wait like it was like 2 months or something like that wait time to get in there.
Wow.
Statue of Liberty is a year. It's a year what time to get into Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I seen Statue of Liberty, but it was between some street. I don't know what street it was. Surprising, I never got lost, but because I could see it in the distance, through the buildings and whatnot. But that's about as close as I got to Statue of Liberty. But
I didn't even get to see her. I wish I could have.
That city is huge. I mean, just looking down the streets, and you could see for long ways.
Dude,
and
it's easily the biggest place I've ever seen in my life, dude. Like, I don't even know how to, like, and like driving up there, like driving through Pennsylvania and all those, New Jersey and all that shit leading up to it. Those are gigantic cities. I felt like I was driving through a gigantic city for like 5 or 6 hours. Like, as it felt like, what is it, Newark, Jersey City, Pittsburgh, or is it Philadelphia? It felt like all these places.
Philly.
Yeah, they were all connected. It felt like.
Yeah, it looks like a
it's just-
big city.
Dude,
The whole
yeah.
state is a city, it seems like.
Yeah, man, it sucks, man. Somebody made a point that I think it was Native. He said that the whole state of New York is held hostage by New York City because like the whole population lives there basically, like, or about 95% of them do. Kind of know, like I kind of broke the law a little bit, man. Whenever I did my traveling, because I was so tripping. I'm lucky. I'd probably be in Rikers Island right now doing some time because I brought my weapon with me and the shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? I kept it hidden really good in my car, but I was thinking, I was like, this is like, well, I'm in Manhattan. This is probably the place that would get destroyed if some major shit happened. You know,
Yeah, they before I got on the bus, when I got in, I had to check in my bags and everything. They went through all my bags and everything.
That shit should be illegal, dude. They shouldn't be able to, like, you know, I mean, they should be able to check people, but if you're a legal person, if you're not a piece of shit, like, you should be able to have your weapon with you, dude, no matter what, dude. You should, like, you know, but they believe their liberal idea is that we should live in a society where violence doesn't exist and there's no reason to have weapons to protect yourself. But not everybody else does, man. We gotta, I'm thinking about calling it quits here in a second, but we got about 2 hours in on this thing right now.
Already?
Yeah, man, we've been it's been flying by, man. We've been I had a good 9/11 special with you, man. Appalachian up on here, man. Always an honor to talk to you, Bushcraft. You've been on here quite a bit, man. Like, you always spread that wisdom, dude. Definitely respect to everybody that fell on 9/11. That is not, you know, that's a serious issue. That's nothing to make light of. You know, and all of that stuff. Never forget it, guys, because that's what's leading. That's affecting your life still to this day. It's like my teacher told me. Remember this, kids. This is history. This is going to affect your lives forever.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, that background is kicking ass. I'm gonna have to go to your tech channel again and try to do my background for me, man.
It's with the OBS. Yeah, I can pop little things in like this.
Dude, that's badass, dude. I know that's how you be doing. You be getting him dancing sometimes too, huh? You be getting the shaking trunk. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'll check out Fishbone for You in Miss Teen, South Carolina. That's the one. That's my favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Miss Teen, South Carolina. Probably somebody doing something ridiculous. Those Miss Universe, those pageant people. They'll be saying like, "What's the capital of the United States?" And they'll be saying America or some shit, you know. Yeah, they have some bad laws in California too. Because even though I have my concealed license, they won't recognize that shit in other states, dude. Like they'll recognize it in South Carolina and Texas and shit.
It's been a long time since I've been in California. It was in the late '80s, I think it was.
I want to go. I want to go visit at least once, dude. Just because because of the music history, the rock and roll and shit. I'd like to visit the Strip once, but I feel like that'd be more dangerous than New York.
Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I want to go see that, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
the reason I want to go to this shit.
that was the last time I was down there. Went used to have pictures. I don't know where they're at. There's a wall that's painted with they're in a theater, I think it is, and there's a bunch of movie stars and stuff. I had a picture with them.
That's probably when it was the nitty gritty too, dude. That kicks ass, man. That's an era, man. You're lucky to have been part of that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that was an era of I don't want to say innocence, but it was an era of like people. You talked on the phone just to figure out where you was meeting at and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was on one of those phones right here, and if you're like, as everybody in the house had to use the phone, so you was like, okay, I can't be on the phone too long. My sister needs to use the phone. Here you go, and shit, or something like that. Like my brother's got to use it. My dad, my mom, like.
Yeah.
I don't even know that. I don't know that generation though. I remember like beepers. I remember that as a child. The beepers were popular. Like the what else was popular whenever the cell phones, like when you text it back then, you'd have to
boop 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 boop.
Yeah. And the AOL, dial-up internet and shit, man. And all these things are gone. And I remember my MySpace account too. I'd like to find my MySpace account and shit too. From whenever
I tried finding mine. I can't find it.
I bet you they delete a lot of that shit though after so long. MySpace is like what was it?
I had like 28,000. I don't know what they call them.
They're friends.
Friends, yeah.
But Tom was your first one that you ever got on that shit, dude. I wonder if this man's a millionaire, if he's a billionaire right now. I wonder what Tom's up to.
And then Facebook came about, and I said, well, this is a joke. It's not going to take over MySpace.
That's what I thought too, man. That's what I was thinking too. I remember back in school, me and my friends was like, oh, this Facebook shit is stupid and shit. But now, like, Facebook is the shit now.
Just like Google. Google was going to give me shares to add their search engine to websites. And I said, oh, that's dumb. They're not going to pass Yahoo up.
You'd be in like the hundreds of millions right now and shit. Dude.
Yeah.
You'd be like
well, it was 100 shares per website, and I had like maybe 30 websites at the time under my web host. Now I think about that now. I'm like, oh my God, why?
That's hindsight, though, man. You know what I'm saying? That's, we look at these things and then look, the one that got away.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to look more into some of this crypto. My buddy Jose, he's been trying to get me on Coinbase.
Yeah.
I just had to see what it is because I don't know if I'm ready to invest like $1,000 of my actual cash, into that.
Yeah, I used to have 1,000 Bitcoin, and I racked my brain so many times trying to remember my login and stuff for that.
Dude, that would be worth millions right now. Dude.
I know.
You gotta try to get. Is there a way to get a hold of Bitcoin, like the operator? Or
I've
some shit?
I've tried and tried. I mean, I don't even have the emails that I had back then.
Oh my God, that sucks, dude.
Because I used to do, I used to get paid that way, and I would just use it for silly stuff back then because there was, I mean, 100 Bitcoins was nothing back then, and I had I would do websites for gaming, like clans. What was it? When Battlefield 2 and things like that, I would make clan websites for them, and that's how they would pay me. That was before PayPal and that stuff. And it wasn't safe to send money over the internet and stuff like that. Or you had to get paid by check or something silly like that. I think I bought a bunch of cards, trading cards for I think 800 Bitcoins at the time. I still have the cards too. I'd rather have the damn Bitcoins though. And I just, like I said, I just completely, because at that time you really couldn't find anything of value. I mean, there were some things that you could buy, and there's also all the legal stuff. But yeah, that's another thing. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere because there was multiple different currencies that you could buy stuff. Was ICP? Not the group.
Insane Clown Posse.
No. It was a chat thing. Oh, and they had coins that you could buy that you could earn and buy stuff from other people with those coins, and it got popular for a while, and then it just died. That's why I thought Bitcoin was going to be.
She said she first heard Klingon Princess said she thought it was buying bonuses in games.
Yeah, there was a lot of gaming stuff around Bitcoin back then.
Now you can buy like houses and land with this shit, right? You
can buy, pretty much, get the deeds and everything. It's crazy.
But it was an honor talking to you, Bushcraft. I hope that one day you wake up or you're just walking around and you be doing something, you'd be like looking at something, you'd be like, I know the email and the password now. Then you go.
Oh yeah, I wish.
And then that's it right there, baby. Straight cheddar, straight cash.
Yeah, I go over there and do the thing. And
my last question for you is this in regards to that. Do you think could that ever be mined again, or would that Bitcoin just stay in that account frozen for all of eternity?
I don't know. If I have no idea on that, or even if it's still there. What do they do with the account that has been vacant for so long?
It might revert the stock back to, or revert the currency back to.
Yeah, I don't know.
But God bless you, Bubba. Thank you so much for being on here, man. But yeah, I'm gonna try. There's a lot of people that went live tonight, man. There was a lot of people that were live tonight. We still had a pretty powerful chat, though. Bug Dude,
Yeah.
Klingon Princess, Hava, Patricia Skubish, Roman Prepper, Appalachian, PIA, Lucky Dame, Prepper Tribe. We had them all up in here. There's some of these people, they were multitasking.
Multiple.
They were doing multiple different streams, multiple different, but God bless the chat. You guys, keep it real. I've been doing this for about 2 months. You guys are the reason, you know what I'm saying? Who would I be talking to if I wasn't, like, who would me and Bushcraft be talking to? I mean, we would still be having a badass conversation regardless, but it makes it, it puts a little bit more on edge, you gotta, you'd be like, oh, what should I say, because I know there are people listening and shit, so. But, yeah, we'll see you next time, Bubba. You got anything you want to plug in? You got anything coming up or anything?
Nah. I'm just finally getting out of the doghouse with YouTube. Wow.
Fuck. A lot of people I know are in it still. My Hutch, he's in the shit for the next 2 months now. He was in it for 3 months, but his first month's done now. They demonetized him and shit, fucking, for some shit he was working on.
Yeah.
But, we give him some more time and shit. We'll see what's good. And it was for a video that he didn't even post. It was a video that was unlisted.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. So,
that's
we'll see what's good.
That's some of the worst ones that they just delete.